Hello and welcome to the MMA Live Chat Show. I'm Rich Davie and it's Tuesday, December 2nd, 2014. On today's show, we'll be discussing the TUF 20 Episode 11 show that will be featuring the fights between Carla Esparza versus Tecia Torres and Joanne Calderwood versus Rose Namajunas. We kind of threw this show together at the last minute due to the busy holiday season, but we wanted to get a preview show done for the TUF 20 Episode 11 show. Joining me on the show today is Eddie Law. Thanks for being here, Eddie. Go ahead and say hello to anybody that might be listening, buddy.
What is up, MMA world? We got rocked with some crazy shit today, but we still got TUF 20 to talk about, so let's get to it.
Okay, all right, let's get started here. Like I said, I didn't do a whole lot here as far as what I normally do on the shows here, so we're just going to kind of wing this and briefly talk about the fights. The TUF 20 Episode 11 show that will be featuring the fights between Carla Esparza versus Tecia Torres and the Joanne Calderwood versus Rose Namajunas fight takes place Wednesday, December 3rd, 2014, and will air on the Fox Sports 1 network at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. And these two fights are the last two quarterfinal fights on this season of TUF, and both of these matchups should prove to be great fights. First up, I believe, is going to be the Carla Esparza versus Tecia Torres fight. And your comments on that one, and how do you see this one going, Eddie, and what is your prediction on how it's going to unfold?
All right, so this is a fight that was supposed to happen in Invicta, all right? Tecia Torres fought what's her name, Felice Herrig, I believe, in Invicta, and as we know, Herrig is best friends basically with Carla Esparza. So I believe after that fight, Esparza went into the cage and Invicta cage with the belt and challenged Tecia Torres to a fight, which is not unheard of, but it's very rare to get a champ to come in and call it a top contender, right? So that fight didn't go down because that happened right before the UFC basically took all of Invicta's top strawweights, or basically their entire division, and brought it into the UFC. So now we get to see the fight. Now, here's why this fight's gonna be crazy. There is some real beef between these two girls. If you know, not too long ago, I believe Esparza was alleging, kind of half-ass alleging, that Tecia Torres was using performance-enhancing drugs, and that's a fact, and that's why she's so athletic and so strong. And Torres, defended herself. She went onto Instagram with pictures of herself as a teenager. By the way, she was ripped apparently, because that's what the picture showed, and was denied any kind of performance-enhancing drug use. But that beef is still there, so that should be a fun fight. Now, Esparza is a wrestler. She's a girl that wants to take the fight to the ground. She has great ankle picks. She has good takedowns and everything. And Torres is a striker. So we have that style matchup of grappler versus striker, which is always a lot of fun. Now, Felice Herrig is also a girl, as we've seen in her fights this season, is a girl that likes to take the fight to the ground. And Tecia Torres was able to, in their fight in Invicta, was able to basically shut her down as far as takedowns go. So we know Torres has the skills to stop Esparza from taking her down and then strike her to hell. But, Esparza is a different animal than Herrig is. So what I think is going to end up happening is I think this is going to be a 3-round fight, and I think it's going to end up being Esparza that ends up pulling it out in the end, because Esparza is a killer wrestler, and she's really good on the ground, and she's relentless as hell. And there's a reason why all the girls are afraid of her, is because she's insane on the ground. So I got Esparza by decision, but I think he's going to go 3 rounds.
Yeah, I agree with pretty much everything that you said there. With the bad blood and everything like that. For those who don't know, Tecia Torres is 25 years old, 5'1", 115 pounds. She's got 4 wins and no losses. And Carla Esparza is 9 wins and 2 losses. 3 of those are by KO or TKO. 3 submission and 3 decision wins, and she has 1 loss by submission and 1 by decision. As far as Tecia Torres goes, all of hers are by decision. So, yeah, I think too that it's more than likely going to go to a decision there. Like you were saying, Carla Esparza, she's a different animal. She's top of the food chain, and it's going to be tough, I think, for Tecia Torres to get the win here. She did not look good in the fight against Brenda Marcos, and in the fight against Felice Herrig there. That was kind of an unusual. I don't think you were on that show with me. But that was kind of an unusual finish there on that one there. I mean, that armbar that she got was just, you know, in such an odd position, and the way that she locked it in so quickly, and the way that Felice tapped so quickly. You know, again, you know, is that because Felice isn't all that great on the ground, or, you know, why did that happen? Why did she tap so fast? Was it just, you know, a matter of she realized that she was in a bad way, and there was, you know, likely not a way for her to get out of that without getting injured? But, you know, you could see that Felice held off for a brief moment, but then she realized, you know, I'm not getting out of this, you know, better tap so I can come back and fight another day. So, yeah, I think Carla Esparza is not going to be as easy, because Carla Esparza, she's an animal, man. She's tough as hell. And, you know, when she gets somebody on the ground, it's pretty much all over. So, yeah, I don't know if this one's going to be a finish, but looking at, you know, what these two ladies have done before, I know they would like to have a finish, because apparently, and I'm going to say this, which, you know, I don't often say, but they apparently hate each other. You know, so yeah, you know, I'm sure they would love to get a finish, but I think I agree with you there. I think it's going to go to decision as well, and I also think the decision favors Carla Esparza. So I'm going to go the same way as you and say Carla Esparza by decision. And I don't know if it's going to be 2 or 3, but I'll say 2.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's very possible, especially, and again, we can't, you know, we can't say that they won't, you know, one of them couldn't finish the other one, because it definitely could. I mean, Torres has awesome combinations. That the thing I like about Torres, out of anything that she does, is the fact that she puts together like big combos. They're not just doing a 1, 2, 3s or anything like that. They're like 5, 6, 7, 8, you know, 8 different, you know, kicks, punches, whatever, in a combo, and that's how she, you know, she kind of blitzes girls, right? So, I mean, you know, I think it's going to come down basically to Esparza being able to take Torres down. And if Torres is able to you know, to stuff her takedowns, you know, that she has a chance to win. But I just don't think it's going to happen, because Esparza is a 2-time All-American in college, man. So, you know, in wrestling. So I don't think Torres has what it takes to stop her takedowns. But, you know, if it's to go Tecia's way, I think it's going to end up being a finish, some kind of TKO. I just don't see it happening. And I think Esparza's going to take it by decision. And I'm calling the 3rd round just for the fact that I think Torres is going to put up a fight in that 1st round, and then Esparza's going to take over.
Yeah, I think you're right. I agree with everything that you said about, you know, the breakdown of the fight, the two ladies.
Yeah, it should be a fun fight, though.
Yeah. Any more comments on that one?
No. I will say one thing, though. Apparently, DirecTV screwed up and put up a link that gave away the winners.
No shit.
Of tomorrow night's fights, and I found the link. I did not click on it. Because I actually have the ability to actually watch the show tomorrow, so I'd have been pissed off if someone spoiled it for me. So I was like, stayed off of Twitter for the most part today.
I thought I saw something about that. I mean, I've been busy at work, so I didn't get home until late today. And I thought I saw something on Facebook, but I never got a chance to scroll up to it, because there was a whole shitload of stuff I needed to look at on Facebook. But I thought I did see something like that, but I didn't want to read it, because I didn't want to know who the winner was.
Exactly, I didn't read it either. And then, you know, Nick, one of the guys I work with at Crossbones, he told me about. Oh, he's like, holy crap, DirecTV put it out. I'm like, I know. And he goes, did you read it? I'm like, no. Did you? He's like, no. So, you know, we're all like, that's a horrible spoiler. But, you know, people that did click on it were probably assholes and put it on Twitter. So I've been ignoring Twitter for the most part, and I'm gonna have to do it again tomorrow, because someone's gonna be a douchebag and put it out there. So. Oh,
that's fucked up, man.
Oh no, dude, I have friends that that tweeted me like, dude, so did someone spoil the winners? And I'm like, do you know who it is? Like, yeah. And I'm like, don't tell me shit. I don't want to hear it. Wow. So people actually went on. Yeah, people are assholes, but you know, what's new?
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say about that. I mean, what kind of situation does that put them in with the UFC? I mean, holy shit, that kind of...
They're gonna be pissed. The US, you know how the UFC gets about stuff like this. You know, they bring lawsuits to this kind of shit. So. I
mean, just imagine what that's going to do to the revenue, because who's going to fucking tune in to watch now if they know who the winners are?
Yeah, right. I mean, apparently they gave out the winners, but I didn't hear anything about how, you know, about them saying how it ended. So people might just tune in and watch the fights. And I mean, look, I'm at the point where I watch where I put the show on and I put it on mute until I see the fight start. Because I'm kind of done with the bickering left, back and forth with the girls. But I don't know. It's just so weird. But yeah, you're right. DirecTV is in a really, really crappy spot with the UFC right now, and I mean, I wonder if it's gonna like affect the relationship at all.
Well, so what did they do? They put up something that was like a post-event show, or what the hell?
Let me see. I put it on the Crossbones Facebook, just kind of as a warning. Let me look. I'm not gonna click on it because I don't want to see that shit. But where is it? Damn it! Here it is. So it's like a promo apparently. The promo, and I'm just reading off a link. It's directv.com/all that shit, and off the URL, and it says Team Melendez versus Team Pettis. It's about to get real, right? And yeah, that basically you go in there. It's basically a promo for next week's episode, not tomorrow's, but next week. So they fucked that up.
Oh,
yeah. So they gave away the semifinals basically.
Well, that's pretty fucked up. Well, I'm glad I didn't get to see it.
Yeah, no, I didn't click. I saw the link and I was like, nope. I know how that should happen. Someone screwed up Walking Dead for me on Sunday. So I was pissed off about that. But so I hate spoilers. So when I saw that was a possible spoiler, I'm like, I'm not clicking on it. And like I frequent Reddit a lot, and they'll put on there on the Reddit links, they'll put spoiler in big old letters. And,
I'm not one of those people who cares too much about spoilers. I mean, if the fight is already done and over with, just don't go on the internet. But something like this is truly a spoiler.
Oh yeah, it's pretty fun, especially like us, if we've been watching pretty much every episode. It's one of those things that would piss me the hell off for sure.
Wow. All right, well, let's move on to the next one there, and the second fight on the episode 11 show is Joanne Calderwood versus Rose Namajunas. All right, what are your comments on this matchup, and how do you see this one unfolding, and what is your prediction?
All right, so I'm glad this is the second fight of the night because it's going to be the more exciting one, I think. Calderwood is a knockout artist. There's no other way to put it. She's a really, really good striker. She's a Muay Thai. She's been doing Muay Thai since she was young, very, very young. And of course, she's only gotten better with the strikes. As we saw in her last fight, they call it, she call it Dr. Neville. She's got those damn knees that she likes to use.
Yeah.
So definitely fun. Rose, the reason I'm a huge fan of Rose is because she takes risks when a lot of people wouldn't. So that's the kind of girl that will take risks to get finishes. If they're on the ground, she'll risk getting given a position to go for a finish. So she definitely is the kind of and a great striker on top of it. So she's very, very well rounded, but she's got that killer instinct of always trying to go for a finish and a risk taker like no other. So this has all the makings of a very, very, very fun fight. And I damn sure can't. I just can't wait to see the fight. And I'm gonna sound like a fanboy again, and I have no problem admitting that I'm a huge Rose Namajunas fan, and I think she's gonna take it via I'm gonna say a submission in the second, because it's gonna be a fun striking match. They're gonna feel each other out in the first round a little bit, and then once Rose gets comfortable real quick, right? So I think Rose is gonna get comfortable real fast in the first round, figure out Calderwood's rhythm and what she likes to do. And in the second round, she's gonna come out swinging, and she might not drop her with a TKO or anything, but she's gonna find a way to get the fight to the ground, and she's gonna just submit Calderwood and make her way to the semifinal.
Yeah, I love Rose. I mean, I like both of these fighters here.
Oh yeah.
And for those who don't know, Joanne Calderwood is 27 years old, 5'6", 116 pounds. She has 8 wins and no losses, 4 by KO or TKO, and 4 by decision. And Rose Namajunas is 22 years old. She's 5'5" and 115 pounds, 2 wins and 1 loss. Both of those wins are by submission, and that 1 loss is by decision to Tecia Torres back on July 13th of 2013. I kind of hate to see this fight here, because no matter what, it's going to be bittersweet for me, because I don't want either one of these ladies to lose this early on. But with everything that they were saying, I mean, more than likely, Joanne Calderwood's probably the favorite. That being because she is 8-0, she's got more experience, so on and so forth. But I think I'm with you, and I'm also being swayed by what Ronda Rousey and DFW had to say about. There was a fighter on the show who is the next Ronda Rousey, and what other fighters on the show have we seen that are submission specialists really. So yeah, I am going to go with Rose Namajunas by 7-2.
7-2. All right. Yeah. I can see that too. I think that's what I said too, right? 7-2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's again, it's one of those fights that should be like very, very fun. It's one of those fights that I wish we didn't have to see right now. It's one of those that I would love to see in a final because it's going to be so much fun. And I think Calderwood's going to do great in the UFC because all these girls are already in. But I think Rose is the last one left out of the Melendez crew.
Yeah.
And as we saw, she puts a lot of pressure on herself to actually perform very well. And to the point that even if she wins, she cries. If she loses, I don't even want to see what she does when she loses. If she wins, yeah, she cries like hell. So, she puts everything she has into it. And we've seen girls that,
I think she's looked the best. I mean, as far as well-rounded and putting it all together. I mean, from what we've seen so far, man, she has performed the best. As far as putting everything together and utilizing everything.
Yeah, no, I think she's only had one fight. So in her last fight, I think we made all of us. Whoever, I don't know if it was just me and you or someone else joined that post TUF 20 show after her fight, but we talked about it being the first actual professional fight.
Yeah.
Like it looked like the very first professional fight of the whole crew. She looked like a legit professional. I have zero doubt that she's that Ronda Rousey, midget that we were talking about. So. Yeah, no, definitely excited to see her fight, and I mean, I'm just happy my pick to win it all, Rose, is still alive. So let's just keep it going, get to the semifinal, and hopefully she could take that belt. But she's got to get past Calderwood, who's super dangerous and really, really fun to watch. And I don't know, I'm just glad I don't have shit to do tomorrow because I'm definitely gonna watch that show.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad I was actually busy all day today, and I got home late because I probably would have read that inadvertently,
Yeah, no, I ignored Twitter. I think I put people were like direct messaging me like, well, you're not responding to tweets today, and I'm just like, if you want to talk to me, text me, but don't give me that bullshit. I'm not seeing nothing on Twitter at all. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, you know what the bum news about this is?
No
matter who the winner of this fight is here, the winner of this fight is going to be fighting Randa Marcos. And I don't know if you, I don't know if you listened to the other show that I did recently with that last show with Randa Marcos and Felice Herrig. But in the TUF Talk show, after the TUF episode aired, Randa Marcos kind of blurted out another fuck up where she said, well, I hope that I win the belt, meaning that she is going to be in the finals.
I mean, it's possible. I mean, who knows? She might just be saying that, but and I hope it's just her just saying that. But I mean, Randa Marcos has been a killer this whole season. She's been the underdog every time she's gotten in there, and every time she comes out, winning. So, it's. I mean, that would suck because I don't want to see Rose lose at all. But Randa Marcos beats her and goes for the belt, or whoever else, Calderwood, if she beats Calderwood, whoever is winning tomorrow. It'll be, bittersweet just like that. But, I mean, I would have no problem with Randa Marcos going for a belt, for a title shot. She definitely earned it. But, again, Rose is my pick. So, hopefully it was just, Randa just talking and not actually, spoiling anything. And we could see Rose at some point, going for a belt.
Yeah, well, I know you're not a fan of the TUF Talk show because you don't particularly care for the interviewer on the show or the host on the show.
Yeah.
But Tecia Torres was on there a couple times, and she was asked who the most underrated fighter in the house is, and she said the most underrated fighter in the house is Randa Marcos, and she said Randa Marcos should not have been ranked number 13 or 14 or whatever she was ranked. And then she asked who was the most overrated fighter on the show, And she said Carla Esparza.
Oh shit, that's just shit talk. But still, yeah, I can see that. But no, definitely the most underrated was easily Randa. I mean, who saw her beating Tecia that first fight? Was it
Yeah,
Tecia? Yeah, Tecia.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Who saw her beating Tecia? I didn't. I think we all picked against Randa at that point, and so
We did.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, definitely underrated, and she'll be one of those constant. I think she'll be one of those constant contenders for a belt once once this season's over and they all get in there fighting and all that.
Well,
And yeah,
she was a champ up in Canada, wasn't she?
yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that's what I read. You know what's crazy about this? Because I know we got this show on Wednesday. Next week there's a show on Wednesday again.
I believe so.
Okay, because we got that show and then we get the TUF 20 final that Friday. Next
Oh,
Friday.
oh, really? Oh,
I
yeah, yeah. Well,
think.
it's already pre-recorded, so that makes sense.
Yeah, I think we get the finale on December 12th. I think so. It should be next week, I believe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but anyway, the shitty part about this, I'm gonna be at the. I got tickets to see Joe Rogan in Phoenix that night, and then I'm going to UFC on Fox 13 the next day, and I'm actually gonna miss the fights on the 12th, which really sucks. I'm gonna have to stick to Twitter. At that point, I'm not even gonna care to see the fight. I just want to see who wins.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, definitely gonna miss that.
You're going actually to cover the Invicta FC event, right?
This Friday, yes, this Friday it's gonna be I'm excited as hell about it, man, for real.
Well, that's cool. I was excited to hear that for you, man.
Thanks, man. No, it's one of those things when we started Crosswinds MMA. It's we knew and we still we're not gonna force ourselves and be like, oh, for sure the UFC is gonna give us credentials. We don't believe that at all. I mean, the site we were with before had a huge following, right? Especially compared to ours, but it was hard to get. I mean, we tried over and over again to get UFC credentials, and it wasn't happening. We tried to get Invicta credentials, and I believe no one was successful to get those. But we got plenty of Bellator. But once we started Crossbones, at that point we were just getting, we got Bellator a couple times. We got a few smaller promotions, and then John Galloway, who I work with, he tried out Invicta. He's like, oh, let's just see if we even get it. Like he basically sent it in, not knowing if it was going to happen or not. And then once when it actually came through, he couldn't go, and he let me know, and I was like, well, shit, let me see if we can pull strings. This is actually, for me, it's a big deal, right? So yeah, I was able to pull strings, get a flight over there, got a hotel, I got everything set up, and I'm literally, it's like my motivation for this whole week for work, dude. Like most of it, I don't hate my job, but I don't particularly it's not what I want to do forever. So it's been, just knowing that on Friday morning I'm flying out to Houston to cover this, is huge for me. It's pushing me to go. But I'm definitely stoked as shit to go, man. Especially since Michelle Waterson's gonna fight.
I love her. She's one of my favorite female fighters. I interviewed her last year, it was right after she won the belt on Mother's Day last year. And I'm telling you, man, she is one of the most friendly, down-to-earth people. I couldn't believe, right after winning the belt like that, she, was agreed to do an interview with me when she didn't even know who the hell I was. And she was really friendly, man. We talked on the phone before and after the show. I had to edit a lot out of the show because we just were bullshitting about everything. And she spent like 2 hours with me, No
kidding.
Yeah, so... If you get a chance to say hello to her, give her a hug and a kiss from me.
I'll let you know. I'll try, and when security peels me off, I'll let him know it's Rich. But no. Honestly, for me, she's one of my favorite fighters because she is incredibly technical. Like she's super fun to watch, right? Like I mean, the last fight she fought Tamada. And, a lot of people kind of, brushed off Tamada. And Tamada was like a zombie on her own. Like, she was getting hit by Waterson in every way possible. I mean, Waterson was, throwing the hardest. Michelle was throwing everything she had. And Tamada just took it. And I think the very last, right before she finished her, you kind of saw the look of frustration on Michelle. Like, what's it going to take?
Yeah, she was beating the hell out of her.
Yeah. And she just put it up just one more level and finally finished Tamada, or at least forced the ref to be like, okay, zombie, you're done. Like, basically, put her out on her feet.
Yeah,
So,
did you ever get a chance to watch that other fight I told you about with Jessica Penny and Michelle Waterson?
I knew I forgot to watch it. I'll actually watch it after this, after we do this, because I have some time tonight. But I'll check that out. But no, definitely Waterson's super technical, fun as hell, and I like that a champion is that humble and doesn't fall to the what I call the traps of
Yep.
trying to sell yourself and
Yep.
just being. To me, she's just kind of like a Demetrius Johnson. You never hear Demetrius Johnson talk shit to anybody, but
Yep.
he might be the best fighter in the UFC.
And a lot of people don't like to hear this, but I think it has a lot to do with people having, religion or having a strong faith.
It's possible.
Most
Yeah.
of the fighters that I've talked to that do have a strong faith and are religious, they're pretty humble people.
Yeah, like I'm not religious whatsoever, but I did grow up very religious, and I was taught a lot of values out of it. So, and those are the kind of values that I still hold dear. That's why I'm not, going crazy doing
Because
stupid crap.
usually I know people today, they don't have their children involved in religion as much, but that's when you learn those values. When you're in your formative years as a child and you're learning those morals and values, they just stick with you whether or not you stick with that religion, later on in life.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't like religion. I think religion causes a lot of problems in this world. But as far as one good way to teach morals is this is one way out of many. But definitely it's one way you can raise kids to have respect and to be humble for sure.
Yeah, I'm not a real, I don't think religion is a bad thing. There are certain religions that are bad because of what they, preach and practice, and you have all these charlatans who are in cults and things like that. I'm not going to mention any of these religions, but you see it all the time. But just imagine this, my friend. Just imagine if there was no religion in the world. If everybody thought that they were a god or they were it, they were the upper echelon of all being. Imagine what kind of chaos there would be in the world if everybody thought there's nobody for me to answer to in the end.
It'd be Planet Douchebag, dude. It'd be like Gold's Gym everywhere. That's what it
Yeah.
would be. So,
Well,
shout out to Gold's Gym.
I know this one dude
That's
who
my
doesn't
respects.
believe. I know this one dude who doesn't believe in God,
Uh
and he's such a fucking asshole. I hate to say that.
huh.
He's such an asshole. He thinks he is a god. He wants to be worshipped like a god, and it just bothered me for years and years knowing this individual. And then the funny side of that is that his buddy, is somebody who is involved in what I consider a cult. And, this fucking guy thinks he's going to rise into the cosmos and become a god and rule over a planet one day. And it's like, how the fuck do you two guys get together?
Yeah, man. One of my good friends used to wear magic underwear because he was Mormon. So it's there's weird shit going on everywhere. But
Magic
yeah.
underwear.
Hey, look, man, and I made fun of him about it every time. And he was so nice and humble. He never, he
And
never.
this is what I find really odd. I
Yeah.
find a lot of the people who are proselytizers and pretend to be so righteous and religious. Typically, they're not. I mean, the actions I've seen of some people that I've known closely, they're the furthest thing from the tenets of their religion, and it just blows me away. It's like, how can you proselytize and preach and try to grab everybody into your religion or your cult, and then act like a total fucking asshole, totally contrary to what you're telling people to believe in. And I had a big problem with a guy for years and years and years that was like that. And again, it was that guy his buddy was, one guy was an atheist, didn't believe in God, and the other guy thinks he's going to become a god one day. And it just blows me away. It's like, how can you not recognize that this guy is not what he says that he is? And then I got thinking to myself, well, maybe he does realize that this guy isn't the religious guy that he professes to be,
Yeah, I think, and I can't find it now. I was looking for it, but I think he deleted it. But CM Punk tweeted out about how people are so full of it. Like a lot of people that call him, like basically like social media allows you to say whatever you want. And he says that that he's gotten so much crazy shit said to him on Twitter, And then, he goes to some of people's profiles and they'll say like, Father, Christian, humble person, but they just said all this horrible shit to him.
Yeah.
So that kind of, yeah.
Well,
And
you see,
and
a
it's
lot, you see a lot of people say it about Christians, and again, we've spoken about religion off air.
mm-hmm.
I typically don't like to bring it up because then people hate on you. Because, when you're speaking about religion, when you just are asking questions about the religion, if it's beyond the comfort zone of what these individuals believe in, they're going to fucking get irate and they're going to hate on you. And all you're just doing is asking them, an opinion. Well, what is this and what is that? And, how is this and how is that? And if they don't have the answer for it, it's kind of like a liberal, man. If you ask a fucking liberal something they don't know, they're immediately going to turn around and insult you. And, they're going to demean you and degrade you. And pretty much the same goes for people who are hardcore religious individuals who don't have answers, but they're very hard, core in their beliefs.
Yeah. No, I don't know. There's too many factors in life. People will find any reason to hate you. So, I don't know. I'm never worried about talking about anything, and it's actually got me in trouble talking about religion. And
Me too. It gets me in trouble all the time.
Yeah, like I avoid it just to like avoid headaches,
Yeah.
But I'm at the point where I'll say anything. If people get mad, people get mad,
Well, you said you were religious when you were young. You were Catholic, I'm going to guess.
Yep.
Yeah,
I grew up Catholic, and obviously I'm Mexican, so I grew up Catholic. But I think once I think I turned like 19, and I realized that I didn't agree with a lot of things the church did, and the religion preached. That I kind of I basically backed off of it pretty hard. So
that was about the same time for me because I also grew up Catholic. I went through confirmation, communion, all that stuff. I went to church 3 times a week and Sunday school and all that. And then I got to seeing, and thinking when I got around 18, 19 years old, I started studying religions. And I'm like, wait a minute. How can the religion just keep on changing in order, just to, grow their followers, their base?
Right.
So your religion is what your religion is. You don't change it in order to get more people to join your faith. Yeah,
exactly. And we probably should get back to the MMA talk, but I just want to finish with this. Right before I did a confirmation, because I actually went through with it just to make my parents happy, really. But when I did confirmation, right before, maybe like 3 weeks before we did that, they sent us on a what's it called, on a retreat. I don't know if you ever did those. And we did a retreat for everyone that was doing confirmation. And I nearly got kicked out for hooking up with a girl in one of the cabins. and literally, the head priest of the whole church was the one that caught us, because he was like, I guess they figured that that we were missing, and he went around helping out, looking for us, and they basically walked in on us.
Oh,
and you should have seen his face at confirmation when he did that whole thing and everything. It was hilarious. He looked so mad, like, you don't deserve this shit at all. It was so good, and I knew it, and and that's basically when I stopped. Right after I did that, I started going to church altogether, and I didn't go back until my nephew's baptism. And he saw me. He knew me still. He remembered me just for that instant, that little incident we had. So, yeah, religion's a lot of fun in my history, for the most part.
Yeah. Like I said, I've had problems with people too. When simply I'm just asking a question or saying, can you explain this or can you explain that, and they think that you're actually beating on their faith and their belief when all you're doing is asking them, well, can you tell me, why that is or why this is, or how do you explain that? And when people don't have those answers, they get mighty upset.
And to bring back to MMA, let's talk about opinions in MMA. You got people that are super anti UFC, and then you have people that defend the UFC to the death, man. Like, I was literally looking on Twitter, maybe right before we started the show, and there's these 2 guys going back and forth about UFC versus Bellator. One guy's bashing UFC like no other. The other guy's he's defending UFC. And I'm looking real quick. They're at the point they're basically name calling each other, and it's like, it's to tie into that religion thing. It's just like that. If you say the opposite of someone else's view, it's like you just declared war on them, man.
Well, I've noticed that too. I noticed that, and this is what I've noticed. I don't know if you've noticed the same thing, but I've noticed that the fans that are more supportive of the UFC are typically long-term MMA fans that have been watching for 10 or 20 years now, and the fans who are more fans of Bellator are pretty much newer fans to the game, and they're more along the lines of they love and embrace the theatrics of the whole thing that Bellator is going with. I don't like the direction they're going. Unfortunately, to me it's a bad thing that the Tito Ortiz and Stephan Bonner fight did so much in the numbers for the viewers for them. But I mean, I just hate to see it going that way. Let's not make a circus out of MMA. I mean, if you want to watch those kind of theatrics, there's entertainment wrestling out there for you to check out.
Right, and I agree with that. And I like Bellator. It's just that one instant, or the couple instances they've had where it looked like professional wrestling was just not my thing, And if they're gonna be going that way, it's just one of those things where I'm gonna ignore Bellator for the most part, and it sucks because I love a lot of those fighters are awesome.
Yeah, I'll tune in to watch the fighters I like, but I'm avoiding the circus act shit.
Yeah, like I was listening to a show tonight, and they were kind of praising Stephan Bonner and Tito Ortiz fight because they had a couple Bellator fighters on, and that was cool. I don't mind them doing that, but I'm sitting there listening to it, and I'm not one to shit on anybody's show, and I'm not going to. But I was sitting there, and I was like, "What fight were you guys watching? That was boring as fuck. Like, what are you talking about? It was
2 million people tuned in for that fight."
And you know what? My theory on that is, and I think, and John's the one that made this point on our show, like right after the event, is that the UFC event ended before the main event started for Bellator. So it's very, very possible, and I was one of the ones that tuned into the Bellator fight right after.
Yeah, I did too.
Just because I love to see train wrecks.
Yeah, so, that was a hectic night though, man. I was switching between all three fights that night.
Dude, World Series of Fighting, UFC, and Bellator on the same night. Look, I loved it, but I was exhausted at the end of it. I didn't even bother writing up a freaking post-fight anything on the website on crosswinsmma.com. Didn't even bother writing. I was so tired.
Yeah, it was like it almost burnt you out. How the hell could you keep up with all of that?
No, definitely. It was hard, and it was but I don't know. I love MMA a lot, so it's one of those things where I'll take it. I'll take those 3 event nights, but just don't make them so
frequent.
Right, exactly, so frequent. Mm-hmm. So yeah, what do you think? Quick, because I know it's getting late for you over there. What do you think about this whole Reebok UFC deal?
Yeah, as I said, I was out. I didn't get home until really late tonight, and I did see something about that. Apparently, I only read headlines. I didn't read any details on it because I just breezed through, social networking. I didn't see any details on anything. Yeah. I saw something that they made a uniform agreement with Reebok, and I guess Reebok is going to be the sponsor on their uniforms that everyone's going to be forced to wear, and it's going to pretty much do away with the other sponsorships for the fighters. Is that accurate?
Yeah. There's no more banners, and this is starting in 2015, I believe, but no more banners in the cage, no more in-cage sponsors. They're going to get their own customized UFC Reebok gear. They get choices of what to wear, basically. And then they're able to have sponsors, but fight week and fight night and the walkout can't wear any of that stuff. But before the fight week, they can have whatever sponsors they want, which is kind of crazy because the reason that companies sponsor these guys is to get their
in the octagon.
Logo. Yeah, the logo on the octagon. This is
for the airtime. So that's probably going to pretty much cut down sponsorships a whole lot.
Oh, completely. And and at the same time, this is something the UFC has wanted for a long time. I think is doing away with how much power managers have, right? Because managers are charged between 10 and 20% to each fighter that they manage, depending on how good they really are. Well, this has taken a lot of that power away from managers, because now you're not going to need managers to get sponsors for these fighters anymore, or at least they won't be able to get any more sponsors because there's no way anyone's going to pay too much money for no octagon time. But the UFC took a lot of power away from those managers, and it's just it's very interesting. There's a lot of negativity coming out of it. I'm included in that though. I do believe they're kind of screwing the fighters a little more.
Oh, no doubt about it, because it takes away personality and individuality. I mean, if everybody's going to look the same, that's going to look kind of bogus. I mean, I could understand that if maybe there was like, sort of like a team situation where you had X fighters from here and X fighters from there, and they all had their own, special set of uniforms that, were required to fight in the UFC league. But as far as making every single fighter wear the same exact thing, got to be big duckies for the UFC, which is why they're doing this. But I think it's fucked up too.
Yeah, it's screwed up, and again, I haven't gotten all the details either. I just gotten what I've gotten from Nick and John sending it to me on my phone. Because again, I'm avoiding Twitter like a motherfucker. So, at least for today and most of tomorrow. But what they've told me is that they it's gonna be by ranking, right? So if you're ranked between 1 and 5, you get so much money from the Reebok sponsorship. And then you ranked, lower than that.
Oh, Jesus. I mean, that's a pretty fucked up situation because you got these people that are ranking guys who are not even fighting, and they're moving up 2 spots in the rankings, and they haven't fought for 6 months.
What happens to guys like Nate Diaz, who used to be ranked, and then just because he was out for a few months, they took him out? What happens to guys like Ian Entwistle, who isn't anywhere near being ranked, or Anthony Burchak, who's nowhere near being ranked? And, what happens to the lower level guys?
And they're forced to wear that sponsor agreement, and they're not getting anything for it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's basically going to be that percentage, and also, or that much money, and also how much merchandise they push. So it's going to be up to the people to vote with their wallets. Is basically what the UFC is saying. And Dana White came out and said it's like this is for the fighters, saying that the I think it's 6 years, $50 million, that money is just straight to the fighters. I don't buy it. I don't think you made that kind of deal to not get any money. So it's to be seen in the, obviously in the first 2-3 months of 2015, but it doesn't look good for the lower fighters. It looks great for guys like John Jones or Cain Velasquez or Anthony Pettis, the guys who are gonna sell merchandise and that are ranked really high, but and Ronda Rousey, who apparently helped them helped them design some of the outfits or some of the whatever.
And then how does that work out for the sponsor? Because John Jones didn't he have a Reebok sponsorship or a Nike sponsorship, and he lost that because of some of the shit that he did?
He lost Nike, and then he signed with Reebok, and then this. So I wonder if he gets double money. I don't know how that works, but I don't know. It's Dana White didn't give every detail. He gave some detail, not a lot of it. So we're gonna end up finding out more and more as time goes on. But I'll tell you who's happy as shit. Bellator fighters, Titan FC fighters, World Series of Fighting fighters.
Yep.
Because
that's where all the sponsors are going to go.
Of course, because those guys, hell, Bellator is going to be on Spike every time, and that's cable television. That should get more viewers. And Titan FC is the same way. I think they're on Access. I'm not sure. Or NBC. I'm not sure. But World Series of Fighting, all those ones that have TV contracts are going to get sponsored dollars. Yeah, and that's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, WSOF is on the NBC Sports Network, so that's free TV as well. So that's where all the sponsors are going to go.
Yeah, and then they're going to get all the money, and the fighters are going to be able to afford to train more, which means, this is just my retarded theory, but they're going to be able to train more because they won't have to work so many hours in their regular day job, and you're going to get higher quality fighters, high quality fights, hopefully bring these organizations up, and then see what we got. See what happens. But it was a weird day when they gave that news out. And apparently, this is a rumor. Supposedly, this is the news we're supposed to get at that the time is now bullshit. This is the news we're supposed to get that day, and it just hadn't gotten done yet. Yeah,
well, it wasn't too long ago where DFW was refuting this because they brought this up a while back.
Yeah.
And a lot of the fighters were dead set against it. Off the top of my head, I can think of Felice Herrig. She was not a fan of this because she says, that's how I, market myself and brand myself with my unique uniforms, and now this is going to take that totally away from her.
For sure, and she's making I think she got $8-9 million from fucking Sqor or whatever.
Yeah, she got $8,900 in a month for promoting herself in a month, man. So that's big money, man. When you're making that kind of money promoting yourself, which is why I guess she's such a media or social media hound.
Yeah, hey, look, man, and a lot of people don't like her for it. A lot of people are like, oh, I can't believe Felice does this and shows her butt and everything. I'm like, hey, don't hate the player, hate the game, all right? If you don't like it, don't hate her. Hate hate the fact that ability is there, I
Oh
guess.
my God! Did you hear that one show that we did with that one character that was on who was just ripping her apart? It was like, wow. And then he went after her. Then he went after her on fucking Twitter and told her. I'm not even going to say what he called her, but he went after her on Twitter and said, "If you want to redeem yourself, come on the show." It's like, well, hey, wait, who the hell made you the producer of this show?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
And
I
then,
think.
I felt so bad about it. We wound up going different ways, and you know, I had a falling out with somebody else that was related to him, and I tried to apologize to Felice, but she's ignoring me. she used to
Yeah,
she used to follow me. Right after that, she stopped following me on Twitter and Facebook.
hey man, I'll say this: the last place we were at before where I was at before Crossbones, pissed off Misha Tate, and it was very impossible to get Misha Tate to even say a word to us. And so now that that I got my own site now with John and everybody, it's one of those things where we're reaching out. I'm reaching out to Misha every once in a while, to see if she'll ever do ever do a fucking interview with us. But yeah, these fighters don't forget, man. They
Well,
don't forget
it's
when
kind
they
of fucked
shit
up
talk.
that they're blaming me for it, and I didn't fucking say it.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. Yeah. That's why I'm picky about who comes on the crossbones and everything. Like Nick is a stand-up kid. He's like I think he's like 21 or 22, but he's a stand-up kid. And John's a good guy. He's a friend of mine. So we're both very very polite people. We're not like you will never okay for him you'll never see him shit talk anybody. Me, I'll shit talk people that are just regular folks that are idiots, but I will never shit talk a fighter because I've trained with guys that are professional fighters, and I'm not gonna talk shit to someone that could most likely kick my ass. I'm
I
just
think
saying.
I've heard you shit talk one or two.
Okay, Brian Caraway, fuck you, dude. I don't give a fuck about you. All right, I forgot. I take it back. Fuck Brian Caraway. I don't give a shit. All right, that is one guy that. But yeah, how you gonna fish hooks? You know what? I'm not even gonna freak out right now. I'm just gonna chill. But
I like most fighters. I mean, there's
yeah,
like
me too.
3 or 4 fighters I don't particularly care for, but for good
Yeah.
reason.
Oh, I have no good reason to hate Brian Caraway. I just don't. I just fuck that. There's no reason Misha Tate. God damn it. Anyway. And maybe and I think I probably should talk John Jones once or twice just for the fact that he's so fake, you know.
Yeah.
But I can't think of anybody else. 'Cause, I mean, fighters are some of the coolest people I ever met. Some of the
Well, I
most
wasn't going to bring them up. I was going to let you bring them up. I knew
yeah,
those were the two that I had in mind, but
yeah,
I didn't want to call you out on them.
Brian Carroll was the only one that legit dislike a lot, a lot. But John Jones I respect. I'm just not a big fan of his personality. That's it. But Brian Caraway all around, fuck that dude. I'm just saying.
No.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Rose and Calder was gonna be fun.
Yeah, that should be a great fight, and I agree with you. I think that one's going to be a lot more exciting than the other fight.
I think so too. I mean, they could always surprise us because like I said, Esparza and Torres they're killers in their own right. But that's a wrestler grappler or striker matchup to where the Rose Calderwood is I think mainly going to be on the feet with Rose getting into the ground at some point.
Yeah,
But
because Rose has no problem fighting on the feet. I mean, it's not that she's a striker who throws punches. She throws kicks from every different angle and every type of kick, and she's got some good striking and good boxing. And I don't know, yeah, that should be a really exciting fight because, like you're saying there with Joanne Calderwood, man, she's always a brawling type kind of a fighter.
Yeah. Rose Namajunas is not scared of shit, dude. So.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely gonna be a fun fight. And I'm hoping Rose pulls it out because again, that's my pick to win it all. And yeah, huge Rose fan. So.
Well, that's weird. You and I both agreed on the fights this time around, which is rare because we typically don't agree. But we both said Carla Esparza by decision. I think you said 3. I said 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then we both said Rose Namajunas by sub and 2 in this one, I believe, right?
Yep.
Well, we will see. And again, neither one of us saw the Sqor.
Yeah, we skipped that.
So I hope we're right.
Yeah, me too. That'll be fun. But then you know what though? If we're right, we're gonna get accused of actually seeing that shit. I'm telling you right now. They're gonna be like, "Oh, you fucking saw it," and I'm gonna be like, "Oh no, dude, come on."
Well, I mean, normally I get these shows done in the daytime, and I have them published by nighttime. But just so people know, we're recording the show at 11 o'clock at night. So
That's true. Yeah.
I got home very late from work, so I didn't see anything. I got home from work and I said, "Hey, anybody want to do the show?" And Eddie responded, so we threw it together at the last minute.
Look, man. Like I said, if I can make a living doing this, I would just do this all day. But yeah, not possible right now.
Yeah, if I won the lottery, I would do this full time.
Oh, dude, are you kidding me? Like, if I won the lottery, all I would do is go to fights and do this shit all day.
Yeah, I know, man. It would be great, wouldn't it? That would be the life.
Oh man, that would be the life. But yeah, that's a whole another show right there about how that's looking nearly impossible unless you do win the damn lottery. So yeah.
All right, I guess that's the end of the show. Any other comments before we move on?
Go Thug Rose. Bring on the fun fights. Hopefully the UFC is not screwing the fighters too. Hopefully the UFC figures a way to make this fair for all the fighters and not just the top ones as far as the uniform thing goes. And Invicta FC10. Can't wait to go and hopefully I have some fun stories to tell you and the guys next time we come on the show.
Yeah, that would be great. And yeah, I agree. Go Rose Namajunas. And I'm actually rooting for Tecia Torres, but I think Carla Esparza is going to win that one. And it's raining like a mother down here right now. I'm getting soaked.
Oh crap, dude! No.
All right, so all right, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say that's weird. It just started raining here in Phoenix a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, I hear it a little bit, so it's kind of I guess weird.
Coming in on me here. We never get rain this time of night.
Yeah.
Well, it's the witching hour here, midnight. So, all right, I guess
dude.
that's it. End of the show there. Thanks for listening to our Top 20 preview and recap series that we've been doing on the MMA Live Chat Show. And if you'd like to join us on the show or chat about some MMA, talk about the Top 20 season, or give your MMA fight predictions or join us for some post-event discussion on the other shows that we do, we'd love to have you join us. Just go over to the MMA chat forums where we plan the shows, create an account, and let us know that you'd like to join us so we can go ahead and give you access to the area of the site where we plan and coordinate the shows. The link to the forums is in the description of the video, and you can also find our other social networking links there as well. Thanks again for listening, and thanks for being here, Eddie. I appreciate it. And you all have a good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.